Hey, let me pray for us real quick, and then I'll introduce our keynote speaker. We flew him in from very far away. You're going to be blessed to hear from him. Churches all over America are dying to have him, and we have the privilege.
Moving in from another generation.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, let me pray for us real quick. God, thank you for my brothers and sisters in this room. My life and my family's life have just been so enriched, Lord, by your people. God, thank you for the impact that these leaders have on our church. Lord, would you please continue to raise up leaders in our church to join this family? God, would you continue to fill us with your Spirit to empower us to reach this next generation for Christ? God, I'm just so blessed by the people of this church. So blessed by this Alive Student Ministry leadership team. You have been so kind to us over the years. You've been so kind to us even over the last few months. God, thank you that we're in a season where we can have the next 2 weeks off and celebrate the anniversary of our church, and celebrate Thanksgiving. And God, I do recognize that this season is really enjoyed by many people, but it's also, Lord, I know the next few weeks are just full of heartache, hard conversations, and a lot of brokenness along the way. So God, I pray that you give us grace, you give us mercy, and God, would you just remind us that really at the end of the day, why were we created? What is our purpose on earth? And it's to fulfill the Great Commission. God, thank you that you allow us to be a part of your story. So, God, I pray that just for the next few minutes as we look at ways that we can strengthen as a leadership team, God, that you would encourage us. Maybe we have several leaders in the room who are just tired, and it just took everything to get in the car and come here. God, would you just refresh them? Would you encourage them? God, I know that my words cannot do that, but by the work of your Spirit, the supernatural can happen. So for the next few minutes, as we just look at ourselves and say, hey, how can we better love our kids? How can we better serve our church? Would you encourage us by that? God, I pray that we leave here ready to love on people better and more like Jesus. So thank you that we got to eat a meal together. God, I pray that you continue to make us family. God, I look forward to the next time we can do this, and maybe we can bring our spouses if we have them, or kids. And Lord, would you just continue to move this leadership team into more unique friendship? Would you move us more into being able to do life together? I know that there are a lot of us, and so that comes with many challenges, but God, I know that you can easily do that. We love you. We commit this time to you. It's in the name of Jesus that I pray. Amen. Amen. Okay, so for the next few minutes, I want David Driscoll to come and explain some new changes that we have to our check-in system, some ways that we can utilize our check-in system. Maybe we talk about absent student reports, and we can talk about ways that there have been some challenges there. There's really a whole lot that I feel like we can focus on as a leadership team, and then take your questions and hopefully can answer what is the purpose behind our check-in system, how is that available to you to offer you information, and then a way that we need you to play a part in making our check-in system a lot stronger, to where we as a leadership team can be, we can really use that as a tool to better love our students and our families. And so David's going to come kind of unpack this for us, and then I would love to take some questions, and then going into the new year, really understand ways that we can utilize a really simple thing to David, very overwhelming for me. But that's kind of what I want to open this up with before we talk about some other things. But David, you good?
I think so.
Let's give him a round of applause. Go get him, Tiger.
That's with everything I do. Right when I start to do it, everything stops working. Okay. So, I started doing the whole check-in thing 4 years ago.
Yeah, when Matt Becker moved to
Matt Becker set up this system that, I mean, it really worked well. And he streamlined the whole way that everybody got checked in so that you could get some reports. He did a great job, taught me how to do that. And then met with Tim, and we thought, you know, there are a few things that we can do that might streamline this even more. So we rebuilt the whole system using those little check-in tablets that you see out there. And got that basically working. But Tim's real passion for you guys is that you're building real connections with all the kids that you work with in your groups. And what's happened as this thing has sort of morphed over the last few years is those groups are not really as clearly defined as they used to be. So, like, you'll have a core group of kids that you can count on that are there all the time. It's easy to interact with them, and that goes great. And you build friendships there almost without a lot of effort. But then you've got several of the kind of the fringe kids that may not show up all the time, and they're like just personality-wise, they are prone to feel like they're outsiders, and it's hard to make connections there. Well, you know, those are the kids that really require some intentionality to build relationships with. And those are the kids that really need it. Those kids can end up doing great things. They just kind of got to get over that hump of, you know, realizing, hey, I'm not on the outside looking in. People really care about me. Well, the check-in system ought to be able to help you do that. So, we created this thing, if I can pull it up here. You know, you've already got nhccalive.com, and that's sort of for the youth group. We have just put together nhccalive.info just for you guys. So it's only for the leadership of Alive Student Ministries. What we're going to do there is we simplified the check-in system as far as setup goes. You know, Terry Barrows helps me down there, and we're trying to pull more people into it. But we've got it now so that if you've got one of those tablets, you don't have to have a PC set up. You don't have to have any of that stuff. Just, you got a tablet in your hand. We've got the printer out there. You can check in. We're even working on a way that students can use an app that if they're in the proximity of the church, they'll be able to check in just using their cell phone. And so all that's going to be easier. We'll be able to go faster. But the point of all of that is that when a student checks in, all of that goes to our online website so that you can do some work with it. So if I go in here and I log in, each of you will have your own login for it. We're able to pull up students based on your desires there. So you'll be able to manage multiple lists of kids and have their email information, their phone numbers, all that kind of stuff. We want to brainstorm before I'm finished today and talk about how you might be able to communicate with them through the website. So this, you know, I've shown you about all that's up there right now, but I'm rolling the whole thing out this week. So by the time we have a live again, you'll be able to go in there. How many of you get the reports every week? Has anybody ever gotten one that was really right? No hands. Close, but not right. It's ridiculous for me to try to make that work. So the way we're going to do that on the website is when you log in, you're going to at first see all of the students that have ever checked in as Alive on there. You'll be able to go through and select multiple of those students and create a list and name it, and it'll just be yours. So that way, you can pull up that group of students, you can see who wasn't there, you can track even a history of them to see if like they came 3 times and then didn't show up for a couple of months. All of that stuff will be there for you. And by creating multiple lists, you can kind of work on a plan of action for one group of kids versus another. If you take those fringe kids and come up with a plan that allows you to spend some one-on-one time with them over, the course of a month, you just wouldn't believe the impact that has. I was one of those kids in my youth group, and the youth pastor just blew me out of my shell just by giving me some attention. So we're putting this thing together so that you'll be able to do that kind of thing. And what I want to ask you about is, if we could wave a magic wand, we had the whole list thing, what else would you want to do with this site? For example, you can create a group email on the website that goes out just to that list of students. Or you could schedule something, you could have calendaring abilities right there that tie in with whatever calendar you might use on your phone, just to help you manage what you're doing with your group during the week. There are all kinds of possibilities, but I'd kind of like to hear from you. What kind of stuff would be helpful to you? Because in a minute I'm going to tell you what you need to do for me, and that's fun. Yes?
One thing I've been trying to do, and those of you who know me know I struggle with technology, but I talked to Jay Tickle and I still haven't figured it out right. But I've been trying to send emails, sometimes sending a group email, where it would look like it's just going to that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've tried doing it with a blind copy, and I've tried doing it when you set up a certain kind of a group email where it's supposed to work. I haven't quite got it right yet. Would you be able to do something like that with it?
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that from the website. It's just a matter of me knowing that that's what I need. So we'll have the whole thing in place to appropriately manage what I need to have managed by the time Alive rolls around again in a few weeks. But that kind of a feature we could have done pretty quickly, certainly by Christmas time. Yes?
Would it have parent emails, or I'm assuming it have parent and student emails on there?
That's where you can help me.
Oh, okay, that's another thing.
That's the most positive answer I can give to that question. It's really tough. You would think when we move from one school year to the next, it's really simple to just increment the grade level that they're in and everything's fine. That has never worked. So at the start of each year, we're almost starting over. Now, adding parent email addresses and that kind of stuff, it's only as good as the information we get when they sign up the first time. Yeah.
For our 8th grade girls, we finally made up like a form. And it took a lot of weeks to finally get everybody's form, but we have now. And it was amazing. We started off just trying to go in the church directory, the online church directory, even talking to Vicki. More than half of our kids were not in the online church directory. So you can't just do it that way either, we found out.
So what would you guys think about if the student had the ability to log in and just see their information, that's all? Then you could say, hey guys, you need to hit the website, update all of this stuff, and you need to do it by next week.
That's a good idea.
Is that good?
Yes, that's super.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could you even incorporate it in the app? Like when they check in, it pulls their information, when they just have to
Yeah. Well, no, that's more like the direction we're going. The app's really going to do a lot of that stuff, and we've even figured out the geolocation, so you don't have somebody who's at the beach who just wants their parents to think they checked in. So They'll only be able to check in if they're at the church, kind of thing.
Would there also be a way for our kids to have access to our information, like our emails and phone numbers?
So would that work better if like they could pull up their leaders' information and their like? So it would be easy for me to say, if you're on a list someone has set up, then you can view that person's information. Would that get it done? Yeah.
Well, okay, so like if all the 10th grade girls leaders want to make a group, would they be able to almost like share the groups?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was mine.
So when you create a list, you can give access to that list to other people that are in the database, and then you guys manage it together.
Will this be app-based? Is this something that,
It's all website right now,
okay.
because some of you guys, you haven't really repented and gotten off of your iPhones. So,
That's just to keep you working hard. But we could, I mean, with our guys, George, correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, it's like light years for us to leave the church and expect that they would actually go home and do something like this. Is that fair?
yeah.
Caleb, come on, you
I don't have
remember those days? Caleb, you remember those days?
Wait, no, what?
That you would go home after youth and you just couldn't wake up with information?
But if it's on a webpage, you can make them do it right there.
My point is it'd be nice to do that at church while we have really nice audience. And they can't leave until they do it.
Oh, a spiritual assessment, we should do those.
But you said.
You take them to a conference. You can't sit on somebody. Read your book. That's like stealing a Bible. What would that about say over what you're doing?
It's like someone needing something to Tim, and like one of my Bible
You get fired. There would be no job to go back to.
Yeah. It'd be like, wow.
Done by two, this for my life.
And it would be my life.
A good point.
I was really hoping y'all forgot about that.
If we had,
I think you'll be hearing about it
when
for
the
a while.
students updated their information, if we can get them,
Yeah, you said
when the students update their information, if we can get them to also enter like their cellular service provider, then you would be able to send group texts out even from the website to them. You guys may already be doing that on your phones, I don't know, is that what you're doing?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's hard, especially because like for me, I feel like send a group message to like a massive group of people
really?
unless they all have.
You're on iMessage. Yeah.
That's where the website would come in handy for you, because you could announce some of these can't reply to.
So what you guys are signing up for, I'm willing to build that, and it's no big deal, but what you're signing up for is getting all of your students to update that information. The big nightmare for me is like every time I send out a report, I know it's wrong. There are people on it that shouldn't be on it. There are grades that are wrong. There's all that stuff. Well, guess who gets to fix all of that now? So you'll be pulling up this website, and in the list of students, you'll be able to go in there and basically delete that record from your reports. Then Monday morning, when Alive is done and you're over your Alive hangover and ready to get back into the real world, you'll go to the website and you'll pull up your attendance reports yourself. So there won't be a need really for Tim to email those out anymore. And if they're wrong, you can correct it right then and run it again until you've got everything the way you want it.
Can I interrupt you? Also, a really good way to help police the accuracy of this is let kids police each other. So I remember when I was serving in a small group, I would take a list of maybe 10 names and say, hey guys, where the heck is Bill Frank? And they'd be like, Bill died last year. And I was like, good. Right? Or hey, where's Sally? Oh, Sally moved to Montana. Oh, thank you. And I would, like, kids know. So like if you need to take a little bit of time in your life group and really ask some questions to the kids, generally you can find your answer through them. And secondly, as a leadership team, not only is this going to help us for this year, and Lord willing for next year, but look at this as an investment. Because what will happen is we'll have some leaders who are really good at getting contact information, like Lindsay Laird. Remember Lindsay Laird? Like, one girl, she did not die. Like, she's still alive. She's in Columbia. Like, she was one of those girls that kind of faithfully got it. But then when she left, contact information went with her. So then I have Greg Babbitts, who's wanting to pour into the freshmen in college. And he would come to me and say, hey, can I get these kids' info? And I'm like, yeah, I don't have it. But now, with the way that we're going, we can log into this and hopefully it'll still be there. Now what student ministry is doing is passing the baton to Big C Church. Like now we can take this, and so say you're a sophomore life group leader, your goal is to be with us all the way to senior year, but life came up and you had to step away from leadership. Well, you have left that hard work. And then a new leader comes in, bam, they've got it. Like you have served them so well.
So I'll just throw out real quick, what you'll see, and we'll send links to this out to everybody who can ask for information. And you'll see whatever your primary list is there. In the middle, buttons and things for deleting students, that kind of stuff, sending out group messages. Then over here, you'll have a little message area, and it'll say things like, hey, there were 5 new students this week, so that you'll have the opportunity to add any one of those that go into your list that way. And whenever you, like, say, make a deletion of a record, that's going to send an email to me automatically just so I know what's going on in the database and can keep all that stuff synchronized. But our goal is for you, for you to be able to interact better with these kids and draw them in to your circle. So with that ultimate theme in mind, I'd really like for you guys to spend some time thinking through that and kind of brainstorming what your Monday morning might look like when you're going through your life cycle, whenever you do it. You know, what would help with that? How can we keep you posted like that? You know, I think immediately, well, it'd be nice if I could select a student and I could put some notes in there so that if something's going on in their life, I don't forget about it next week. Well, there are a million of those ideas. We just got to capture them. And as long as you guys are throwing out ideas, we'll keep developing this thing and keep it growing. Yes?
What happens if you have a student who comes and says, like, this is going to be my only time here?
When they sign up, if we know that, there's this little thing they check that says rarely attends, and that keeps them out of reports, but they may still end up in a list somewhere, and you can just remove them from the list. Now, yeah.
So, I mean, can we have multiple columns that you can have the home number if there one exists, or their parents' numbers? And
Yeah, it'll
have
show
a lot of
all
columns
that.
for that.
It'll show everything that we've got,
Right.
and we have all of those columns.
Because here we got kids now that, you know, we got 25% of our kids are 30 and 11th grade, I'm guessing, you guys correct me, that don't have cell phones. And some of them don't have home phones, and so you just got a parent's number. And they're not going to respond to email or Facebook anyway these days. And, you know, except for School George, we're not on Snapchat. No, I'm just messing with
So we'll provide all the information you've got.
Okay.
We'll give you the method of adding information if you know what it is. And, you know, we'll just have to see how that shakes out. Yes?
Okay, you mentioned that there would be a way to do like calendar stuff, because when we plan things, a lot of times it's difficult to get all of the kids on one Sunday, hey, we're planning something for...
If that helps you, we'll put it.
That would be the most amazing thing.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I would love that.
So you guys, if you want a calendar on here, that's like for your group, that will sync to whatever calendar you use outside of here. All right. We will do it now. You're signing up to make use of it. Yes.
Would there be a way to create like a, somewhere in like the group that you create like a prayer requests page
Yes.
so that way you can update students who weren't there, what the clarifies are that week, or even add these ones throughout the week as something come up.
So maybe that would be something like notes
Okay.
for that group rather than for that individual person. And like, when you enter that note, there maybe should be an option where you can send that out to all members of the group. Would that be good? Okay. All right. I'll see if I can get that. I'm trying to have all of these in place by the end of the year, but the basic stuff in place by the next time Alive meets. That's my goal.
Can there also be a way for like the students to access some teaching notes and stuff?
That's a great idea. You guys have teaching notes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Why don't we do that? What format is it?
My teaching
It's
notes?
a PDF.
PDF?
Yeah.
It's on the services page. If you have the app, the services app is on it.
Well, so I guess what we've decided at this moment is this site is primarily to be used as a tool for you guys. And if the students are in it, it's really, they're just in there to help you do your job. If we want to grow it beyond that so that the students really have more interaction with it, that might be on the agenda next year or the year after. But we could certainly have those notes up there for you guys. That's a great idea. There's another side to this thing. There's a real reason beyond this that we have all of this stuff. Every now and then, we'll have a mom call and say, Johnny tells me he's been going to Alive. Has he really been there? And most of the time it's all cool, but every now and then, kids just not showing up and mom and dad don't know where they are. So literally going back 5 years, we have a history of everyone who's checked in and when they've checked in, and sometimes we've got to dig into that. So this really is that important. And I think, when there are really messy family situations, it even becomes a legal thing.
Yeah.
So, it's really critical that you guys manage this, but our overall goal is to start drawing these kids in and doing life together, just like Tim was saying. Anything else?
So if we see that on the list, when you all say these people were there,
Yeah.
and we look and say, well, that person wasn't there, should we be letting you know?
Because sometimes they get smart and they realize they'll check in and then peace out at about 6:50. Now,
So if on the website, a student is on your list and it says they were there, and you update that to say, no, they weren't, then a message is going to go out. Just by you doing that, I'll know, Tim will know, I imagine Molly will know. So that's how it can help you. You don't have to communicate with all these people. It's going to do that for you.
And we're saying they weren't in our group.
Yeah, well, you're saying there's a student that was supposed to be in my group. The system is saying.
We're not saying they weren't here, but we're saying they didn't hang out with our group.
Yeah.
We're just saying they didn't make it to last.
Yeah, that's all. It's an attendance thing.
Right, but we're not saying it showing up here. We're saying they didn't come to life group.
Well, I'm saying the two are the same. If they're in attendance here and they're in your life group, they need to be in your life
No,
group.
what I'm saying, they could be in attendance here because we got 140 people in here. We don't necessarily know that they're here.
Oh, well, yeah, my report, if I have to go back a year from now, my report is going to say, this person, someone checked in under this person's name, and their leader said that they were not in life group. And that's all we know. That's totally honest, and that's what we would want to present to somebody who's asking.
and this is the way we go about that. So this is now bleeding into crowd control. I can't force a kid to stay. Like if I'm preaching and a kid gets up and goes out this door, starts walking down here, what Caleb Walker, Mahler Nunez, and Monty McConnell, they'll just say, hey, real friendly, where are you heading? And if they say they're leaving, we try and pull this protocol of, okay, do you mind if we just call and can I hear from your guardian or whoever that you have the green light to leave? 95% of the time that has worked. Like they have called and the mom's like, yeah, he needs to come home, you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's good. Sometimes we've had kids flick Caleb Walker the bird and they've kept walking and
That doesn't turn out too well.
now, but so there's only so much we can do. I mean, we just had a kid that left the life group 2-3 weeks ago, hopped in the car with some 20-something-year-old boy, and we still haven't seen her. But we know she's okay, but she has not come back to a Sunday night.
Does our security team have
Firearms, yes.
Lawler has a couple of guns. But do they have a printed list or on their phone or something, truly the parents or legal guardians of said kid?
No, we just get the number from them.
Right. I would just say that's not, if this kid's trying to cut out, that's not a really good checks and balance, I would just say.
Well, it's just our procedure against a system that they can leave if they...
Right. But I'm just saying...
In the state of South Carolina, if I move a kid against their will, if I just say, hey, come on, you're coming with me, that's called kidnap. Like, I can be charged for kidnap. So there's only, like if the kid were to say, they forced me to stay and I wanted to leave.
Oh, I'm not saying that we're forcing kids to do anything. I'm just saying at that point we'll force their hand with the fact that we really know who they're...
It's just a question of how far to draw the line.
Right.
And we can talk through that. I think what will be strong when it comes to this is thinking through a way where I can go back however much time, or sometimes I sit in an office with a really angry parent. I would love to pull this up and say, hey, we love that little Bobby's coming, but he keeps piecing out at 7:15 after worship. I can't get him in a life group. I can't get him connected with God's people. I can't. So now I've got ammo to go back to the parent and say,
you need to come here and do your job. Right.
Did you walk through with them how they can get logged into this? Have you done anything?
We're sending the email out before the next Alive meeting that tells you all you need to know about that. And it'll even include just a little demo of how you set up your first list of students.
And this will take time, guys. Like, I know this might seem a little overwhelming. Allow yourself some wiggle room to get comfortable with this. Like, don't feel like you got to be an all-star the first week we roll this out. This is kind of unprecedented territory for us. So it's going to take a little bit of time to get comfortable with this and for us to get this working like a well-oiled machine.
If you guys get into it and there are whatever issues, we'll maybe just set aside a time before Live starts or something to go through a full demo when it's actually launched. We're working like on the front end with the students and the back end with the website. So there's a lot of work going on right now. Yes, somebody had a
I
question.
had a question. Something I was hoping to hear feedback on today was, okay, so we've been doing this and taking that absent list Monday and sending like email out to everybody who was absent saying, we missed you and da-da-da, let us know if there's prayer requests. But I still don't know all the 8th grade girls. And sometimes we'll have 25 in the room, sometimes a little less, whatever. But I don't know everybody. So in your small groups, does anybody you actually just quickly jot down attendance so you can, because sometimes I've sent, I'm so sorry you weren't here, and the mom would write back and say, no, she was here. And I was like, sorry. But because she was on the absent list, but I still don't know who she is, so I didn't realize she was here. So does anybody actually do a quick attendance in life group, or?
Right. You should have, 1 or 2 people who, so you can divide and conquer the group a little bit. Because if you're trying to do it with 25, I've had 25 kids in kid stuff and I never learned their names.
What?
Hey, you, come here.
Hey, guess what? Get us to read your email, Jim.
That's right. You have an email address?
I know for middle school with the 8th grade guys, we'll be at most 8 guys in a group.
That's
so
a lot, yeah.
So it'd be pretty easy to Monday morning just go look at the list of 8th grade guys and try to find the 8 who were in my group that week, because it varies, but I can find the 8 who were in my group and be like, okay, yeah, they were all there, but if it
since like there was someone there, like if we all are like, okay, that person was there, it'd be easy to kind of like work together with leaders to figure out who was actually there and who wasn't.
And I think a natural way to get all of the names of the kids that were there, like divide and conquer, and then just get prayer requests from them at the end. So then you just have a list of kids, these are the kids you're praying for, these are the kids who were there, and then compare it to the list. That's what I do, because I don't know.
And we'll talk about having time to do that in just a little bit.
What I'm excited about is, up to now, the lists have been horrible. Now, when the lists are horrible, it'll be your fault. So it's all good for me.
That makes me giddy. Excited.
All right, that's all I've got.
Hey, can we give David a round of applause?